What's up everybody, this is Hengus with TGN. Today I'm going to be doing an editorial on chroma keying and audio syncing, that is not using camera audio on your on-screen images. So I'm going to actually be doing this in a live edit for my Quest for the Best show, which is something that a lot of you are probably familiar with. It's a weekly show I do on TGN. Basically allows the audience to pick their favorite uploads of the week. It involves me being on camera as well as a lot of video overlaying and such things, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on getting me crisp, clean on camera, and also having crisp audio. So first things first, I need to import my video files. This is not, you don't do something like this in one take. That would be lunacy. This is 5 different clips of me and my beautiful self, put it lightly, on camera there, making all kinds of funny faces. Now what I'm going to do is basically show you how I can get a really clean chroma key, position myself properly on camera, and get that audio. Now have a listen here to what the audio sounds like from the camera here. Viewers, welcome to this week's Quest for the Best, the show where you decide the best videos and TGN's network over the course of just 1 week. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is actually sync this audio to make sure that it doesn't sound horrendous like that. You heard a lot of white noise, just really a spatial quality that really is not appealing, really low audio quality. That is from the microphone built into my camera. This is something that a lot of people do and they're just okay with. But to a viewer, it really shows you how professional your video is. So here, I actually took the liberty of recording a separate audio track while I was filming. This is done by using a condenser microphone, actually the one that I'm using right now to speak to you, which is recording my voice simultaneously as I'm filming. So I hope that makes sense, but I mean, this is how all Hollywood movies are made and such. And you just really need to learn how to use this method. Look at me warping all over the camera there. Now, the hard part is actually getting it synced. So as long as you can't see, my microphone is actually hidden right beneath my waist here in the camera shot. You can't see it, but you do need to find a way to record it without it obstructing the camera. Or if you so please, hide it, like the way I've chosen to. I don't want my audience to know. Now, it's difficult to try to sync. You can see, say I mute the camera track. Show where you decide the best videos and TGN's network over the... You can see that my voice is not synced with the actual mouth movements, whereas it is in the camera. You can hear what that sounds like. Over the course of just 1 week. Now it's very difficult to try to sync that yourself unless you leave yourself a little reminder. You can go with a snap or a clap, but basically what I like to do is count down from 3 on camera and then make a clapping sound or a snapping sound to really get a bulge in my audio track that makes it a lot easier to sync. So watch. 3, 2, 1, go. So that snap, and it registers as being this kind of a spike in my audio track, high decibel volume there. It makes it very easy to track that and sync it. So you can see that now after syncing that one snap, my audio is synced. And viewers, welcome to this week's Quest for the Best, the show where you decide the... Now that sounds kind of funky because that's 2 different audio tracks on top of one another. So what I'm going to do is ungroup the camera sound with a U. Hotkey for that is U. Delete it and then group the wave file with my video feed. So I'm going to group those so they move together now. And I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. Hey friends and viewers, welcome to this week's Quest for the Best, the show where you decide the best videos. And now you can see that is condenser quality audio synced to my camera. It's not very difficult, but it's something that a lot of people don't, they kind of just take for granted when they see that. But most, in fact, all high quality video done these days is done in a very similar manner to this, either a hidden microphone in your clothing or it's dubbed or something of the nature. So get very accustomed to doing this. You can see here that my snap was yet again right there. It's very simple to sync that. If you see distortion, pixelation in my video feed, that's simply a codec issue with Vegas that you don't need to worry about. When you actually render it, it will be smooth. That's Sony's compression that they use in their cameras, which is not very compatible with Sony Vegas, which is interesting because they're both developed by Sony. Wink, wink. Anyways, I'm just going to go through these in sync and talk a little bit about recording methods while I'm doing it. So you need to be able to get a really good microphone, which are not very expensive these days. The condenser microphone that I'm using right now to get this audio is only about $100 now. It's an Audio-Technica AT2020. Audio-Technica is a very reputable brand. There are plenty of reputable brands out there, but just trying to get by with camera audio really doesn't cut it after a certain point of professionalism, and you just need to use a different microphone. You can even use portable mics that run on batteries. Some voice recorders are actually pretty darn up there, used for instrument recording and such. But you do need to find a way to sync this method of recording so as to avoid getting that really bad camera audio. Because I don't care which camera you have, you know, how expensive it is, 99% of cameras have really poor microphone systems simply because they're not designed to record audio professionally. Not like a studio. You have to use other methods to get that really clean audio that you're looking for. Such as the one that I just went over with you. So you can't see it in the camera footage, but there is a hidden microphone right beneath my waist that I'm speaking into. Okay, so now that we have our audio synced, we can go ahead and remove this. Whoops. Remove this volume layer, audio layer, and just there we have, like, there was never even camera audio to begin with. These are all synced WAV files with the high definition camera audio, or microphone audio, excuse me. And Howley rating on the PTR patch 4.3. It sounds good, right? It could sound better using the hardware I'm using, but I mean, I try to do this show quickly. It is time sensitive and all those things, so it's not super hardcore edit. However, let's go ahead and move on to the chroma key now. First thing we need to do is mask out what shouldn't be in the shot. So you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor? I think you can. One second. Let me make sure so I don't make myself look like an idiot. Okay. Yeah, you can see my cursor. So this blue tape here, that's actually tape I used to tape my green screen onto the wall. You can see that this wall here is really lime green. That's actually the color of my room. And we don't want that in the shot, obviously. There's a shadow here cast by my bed frame. And there's even a reflection right around here for something that shouldn't have been there, reflecting the floodlight that I'm using onto the green screen. So that is going to distort it a little bit, but it's not a big deal. We're not going to get super serious with this one. However, do try to avoid that in the future and make sure that lighting is very even on your green screen. I do use a couple different lights for that, but we'll get into that into a little bit. So the number one priority is to mask out this tape and that shadow, because we just don't want it in the shot. So what I did there is I went to the event pan crop button right there. And here's what I have. I'm going to go down here and enable the mask. Make sure that the timeline starts at 0. And I'm just going to simply draw the mask and cut out that shadow from the bed frame and also this wall here. And there you have it. You can see that it's darkened, and then what is masked in is light. So there's nothing but green screen that's masking here. You can see that it's now indicated by this black border, where those other things that we didn't want, those irregularities, is now omitted from the picture. Okay? Very simple. Now we go into our actual chroma key itself. Now, Vegas is definitely not the best software for chroma key. I would say at consumer level, your best bet is Ultra Key in Adobe Premiere, which is it actually ships with Premiere. I would definitely recommend using that. Although there are some plugins with Vegas that are very good, but you do have to pay for those. I'm actually running a trial on a BCC series of plugins here. It's more customization than actually comes with Vegas originally. Normally I would use a chroma key from that plugin because it's very good. In fact, pretty much on par with the Ultra Key in Premiere. But for the sake of this instructional video, I'm going to use the built-in chroma key from Vegas and show you how you can customize that, because I'm going to go ahead and anticipate, or excuse me, assume that you guys don't have any plugins. So here we go. Here's the preset called green screen. I'm just going to drag that over my image there. You can see that it kind of keyed out the background. Got this navy blue background, some green on my hair and such, a little bit around my border. Now the easiest way to fix this is to use the eyedropping tool. Now before I get into that, let me just explain chroma keying a little bit. Most people believe that green screening is mostly about post editing, and that's simply not true. The most difficult part of chroma keying is actually finding the right lighting. You can use any lights, lamps. I mean, I use 2 desk lamps to get this lighting effect. You just really want to find an easy way to illuminate the screen evenly. Now, even with my experience, you can see that it's a lot brighter on the right side. At least to my eyes, I can see it pretty easily, and a little bit dark up here in the left-hand corner. That's okay because we can use thresholding to fix that. But the more you use thresholding to repair imperfections, the more clarity you're going to lose in your image. So just do bear that in mind, that you need to have a good key going into this, and even lighting with a proper green screen to get this looking just right. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool indicated right here. You can see that the default green screen is very neon. It's a very unnatural bright, like lime green, and that's obviously not what I'm working with here. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and get the color that actually indicates my real green screen right there. And then I'm going to re-enable the chroma key by checking that box. You can see that the key is much more exact. It did make me a lot darker. That has a lot to do with the thresholding. You can see that the low threshold is at 0. I would go very in detail about what these actually mean, but for the sake of this video, it's not entirely necessary. So I do need to adjust this properly. Looks like having a black shirt kind of makes it difficult, but I do want to make sure that it's not too jagged there. That looks good. And the low threshold is actually, well, I don't want to go too in detail about how this works, but basically just mess with the low and the high thresholds until you find kind of that balance. You can see if there's no low threshold that I have that light part of the green screen kind of showing up here. I kind of get rid of that. Now, because there's not a whole lot of customization with this particular default chroma key, I do want to kind of make myself partially transparent, and this will work with a lot of backgrounds, but and for the most part that looks about right. Okay, now you can see that on my shoulders it's a little bit jagged. It's because of the high threshold. I'm going to just kind of blur that a little bit so that you can't really see, and there we go. That background is pretty much open to anything. So I'm going to bring in my default Quest for the Best background right here, side strafe made for me, and you can see that my hair is partially transparent. That's about it, really. That's really the part that is difficult, because there's so many pixels in between those different strands of hair depending on the resolution of your camera, and it can be difficult to get that out. But if you move yourself onto a black background like the one I do in Quest for the Best, it's not even really that noticeable. So I'm going to simply go to position in the event band crop and shift myself over to the left, say like right there, maybe a little bit more to the right. There we go, that looks about right. And you can see that the thresholding is not so bad on my hair. Now it is noticeably blurry. The resolution of your camera also plays a large role in the effectiveness of your chroma key. I would recommend only trying this with a high resolution camera, high definition at least, 1080p preferably, because you do need as much detail as possible, for example in between those strands of hair. So I mean that's what you can get GN's network over the course of just 1 week. Congratulations to the Terrian Besbald with the default settings in Vegas. Actually that's a little high there. That's what you can get it to look like. Now, because I have these plugins, I'm not actually going to use this version of the chroma key for now. I'm going to go ahead and go with a preset that I made. Here. So now that we have that key sorted out, you're going to notice that it kind of changed the coloration in my face, or just in that video layer in general. So commonly people do use color correction with their chroma keys. I'm going to actually do that for this one because it made me a little bit brighter than normal. And also, if you can see that, like the border of my shirt, for example, is a very drastic coloration difference between my body and the background. And you need to use color keying, color blending and color correction to compensate for the differences between your subject and the background. So I'm going to go ahead and just darken this up a little bit. Let's see. Should be one that I made. Yeah, here we go. So this is a color corrector. You can see that it... Whoa, we didn't want to do that. I kind of turned down the gamma a little bit. This is what it would be by default. Something like that. If I make it darker, like so, it kind of just blends the shirt. It makes the shirt a lot darker, and it makes that difference in the border a lot less noticeable. I also amped up the saturation a little bit. That's actually optional. Kind of gives me more of a healthy look compared to all the lighting, the bright lights that I'm shining on my face. Gives me more color in my face, but I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit. Say, go with that. Turn it down. It has a reverse effect. I mean, you can either choose to give yourself more color or less color, depending on the lighting in your face. And I guess either or, it's kind of whichever mood I'm in, you know. Less color today because maybe I'm pissed off today. Who knows? And then just mess around with the gaining and offset as well. Give myself really like a pale coloration look a little bit, or extremely high contrast. I don't know. I just play around with it. The most important part is that you adjust the color blending appropriately so that it better fits your background. I'm gonna go with kind of a look like that. I think that looks good. And then apply that to all my layers. Now you're going to notice that these other clips are not masked and they're not positioned properly. Simplest fix for that is just to bring up the event pan crop and copy and paste these keyframes here. So the position keyframe starting at 0 seconds, just go ahead and paste it into the other event pan crop here, and it'll automatically position me in the exact same spot. So if you're doing multiple takes like I am, you're going to make sure that you need to stand in the right location so that you're not shifting around the screen, or you don't have to compensate your positioning in your editing procedure. So I like to mark my floor with a little bit of tape, because obviously you have to get up and, you know, re-record and things like that, start moving around. And so do that. I don't necessarily have to mask this the same way as I did before. Oh, by the way, you can see my microphone here in this shot. That's where it is hiding when I'm filming. So I'm going to actually move over the mask as well, just to make sure that there's no irregularities in the other clips. Obviously, everything should be identical. So I'm just going to go ahead and enable these masks for each of these clips. Paste the keyframe. And that way we have no problems. And then the rest after this point is very simply just video layering. I'll give you an example of how chroma keying can work. I mean, you're basically a layer, an object. I'm going to insert a video track and put it beneath my body layer, and just bring in a very simple image such as this. And then I can position this around to give you an idea of what it looks like. Whoa, kind of off the screen there. Bring that up. You can see that my head is actually above this layer, or you can change that and put it above your head, however you like. But I like to make sure that myself, I'm kind of the main focus of the show. It's just as much personality driven as it is content driven, so I need to make sure that I don't obstruct my face in any way so as not to detract from the focus of the video. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's a very basic chroma keying procedure in Sony Vegas, one of the easier to use editing programs with still considered a professional grade software. Let me know if I can improve these tutorials in any way, and I'm probably going to do a lot more of these to come. So stay tuned, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.